Hey guys, and happy Saturday. So today I am participating in a vintage Valentine collab, and it is hosted by several makers. I have all of them here and I'll have them listed in my description box as well. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. I found this picture frame at the thrift store and I loved the border of it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. And if you don't have one of these staple removers, I have an Amazon storefront link in the description box down below. You definitely need one because they're amazing. Now, I didn't need it for this part, and then I realized that this was just a piece of paper and not the backing. I don't know why I didn't notice that in the beginning, but nonetheless. So what I realized was I just had to tear that paper off, and then there was staples on the inside. So I went ahead, tore that off, and cleaned it up and, got it all cleaned up so that I can find the staples underneath. And yeah, there was just a bunch of staples in like weird places. They were kind of in there, very strange. So yeah, it took me a minute to get all of the staples out. So I will be starting to pull those out here in a minute, but I'm not going to show you me pulling all of them out. But definitely this staple remover is a must. I'm sorry I'm out of shot there. I didn't really realize how far down I was on the camera here. I also have a new stand for my camera, and it's kind of in a different position than it's usually in. So I'm used to recording in a certain way so that I'm in the shot, and now I have to get used to recording with my camera above me as opposed to like on the side of me. Anyway, yeah, so I went ahead, took out all those staples. It took me a while because there was a ton of them and they were stuck in there really, really well, but this staple remover definitely helps out a whole lot. It's again in my description box in my Amazon storefront. And again, I'm not doing anything to the frame. I love the way that it looks. I love the coloring of it. I love how old it looks. And so yeah, so it's perfect for me. I'm leaving it just like that. Then I'm using this little wood heart plaque thing from the Dollar Tree. Remove the little what's that thing called? The twine, that's what it's called. I removed the twine, and I was trying to use this distress ink that I usually use when I'm journaling, and I was using the wrong brush. I was using my brown, the brush that I use for my brown, so the color just wasn't coming through, so I had to kind of keep working it. Then I just decided to go ahead and use the ink pad. You'll see me here in a second just use the ink pad instead of the brush because the brush was putting brown on there. Now you can't really see it on camera because this is a very, very light pink. If you don't know, I don't really like pink, but because it's a vintage Valentine, I figured I'd use a little bit of pink. And like I said, you can't really see it too much on camera, but I just went ahead and went through and just put covering, like a little layer of the pink, distressed it a little bit with the pink. And again, you can't really see it on camera, but it's there. It's definitely there. And I just went over the whole thing with the ink pad, and it worked out great. And it dries fast, so that's good too. I was going to get like some paint and do it that way, but I didn't want that much. And like I said, this worked out really well, and it's a lot easier this way. My brush kind of messed it up a little bit because it did have some brown ink left on it. I thought I cleaned my brushes, but apparently I did not. So yeah, so you can see there's still some brown on there. So I messed it up a little bit, but I went ahead and I fixed it. I'm going to take my vintage photo distress ink, and I'm just going to kind of go over it and kind of make it look vintage, distress the corners, the edges and stuff like that, just to give it that more vintage look. I do this a lot when I'm journaling. It just gives it a nicer look, and you want to make sure that everything looks kind of vintage and old and distressed, and this stuff works great. So I just went ahead, did that all over the place, kind of to my liking. You can also use, paint. You can use shoe polish. I use shoe polish sometimes, and that works really good as well. So I'm going to go over it again with some pink. I thought I clipped a lot of this out, but apparently, oops, I dropped it. I guess I did it, and it's a little bit too late to try and go back and do some more editing. So you're just going to see me distressing. I'm trying to get back in the swing of like recording again. I haven't really done any DIYs in a while since I've moved, just because it's just been hard. So I'm trying to get back in the swing of like recording. So Anyway, so I was trying to decide whether I wanted to use pink lace or the cream lace, and I went with the cream. The pink was just a little bit too much for me. So I had made these little bows, and if you've been around for any amount of time, you know I don't know how to make bows, but this is how I make my little bows. You just do the bunny ears, tie them through, pull them, and then fix it. Pretty simple. Just like tying, like when you tie your shoes with bunny ears, except just, using your lace or whatever. And you just fix it up and it looks good and it holds together, so I like it. Now this next piece, this next part, I don't know what I was thinking. I really don't. But I was just trying to make like a little hanger, with the ribbon. And I was being very, very difficult. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. And it was just being, it was strange. Even I noticed it like as I was doing it. I'm like, what are you doing? Why don't you just flip it over? But anyway, I'm just using the lace ribbon to make like a little hanging piece for it. I was just trying to measure out to make sure that, it's in the frame the way that I want it. I don't know why I'm being so awkward with it. Like, why didn't I just turn it around and do it that way? But no, look what I'm doing. I'm doing it from the front and trying to figure out how I'm going to hold the ribbon. And I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. And I figured, why not just show you that sometimes we don't really think things through. So, and it's okay. It all worked out at the end. I went ahead and just kind of glued it, burned my finger a few times, but what is a crafter if they have fingerprints? If you still have all your fingerprints, you're doing something wrong. I'm just kidding. Um, all right. So then I realized, why don't I just turn it around and do it this way? So then I went ahead, did that, and made sure that it was sticking, burned my finger a little bit more, and moved on to the next one and did this one the right way. So I went ahead, put the lace through, but I guess it was easier. I measured the first one. I don't know, whatever. You see what I'm doing. So this time I did it the right way, turned it around, put the ribbon on there, put the glue on, and got my little silicone face mask applicator. Yeah. And did it the right way. And if you hear noise in the background, of course, my children are home, so you're going to hear something. Eventually, there's going to be some noise back there. So, okay, so I went ahead and I put the glue on that one, fixed it up, made it look the way that I wanted it to look, and then turned it around. And I'm going to go ahead and use my little bows that I made. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue those on there. I think I have the wrong glue in my glue gun because this one was turning yellow, and I'm trying to remember like the last time I used my hot glue gun, because this isn't my usual glue and it was kind of yellowing, and I was kind of upset about that. But nonetheless, I just kept going because I didn't want to have to stop and go wait for it to warm up. So I just went ahead and used whatever glue was in there. I usually use the Gorilla Glue sticks, but I'm thinking that I was doing a project with my daughter and we were just using like regular whatever glue I had on hand. So yeah, anyway, so I just went ahead, glued the little bows on there, cleaned up all the little glue stringies, and that was it for that one. And I'll show you a picture of it at the end here. And then the next DIY that I'm going to be doing is really cute and pretty simple. You're going to need some book pages, a heart hole punch if you have one, or you can, just cut them out. And I use these little like heart branch hearts decor from the Dollar Tree. And I had this tobacco basket that I've had forever, and I've decided I wanted to use it for this. So I'm going to take it. Sorry, I'm out of shot again. My camera's usually in a different angle, so it usually works out. So again, being difficult instead of, just doing things normal, I measured out the I measured out the twine. Oh, sorry. Hold on just a second, guys. There was an ambulance going by, so I had to stop for a second there. But I'm just putting the twine through the little heart there so that it'll hang on there. And this was pretty simple. There's like spaces in there, so it worked out perfect. And you can use these, or they usually have some smaller ones. I didn't see the small ones at my store this year, and I used up all my small ones last year, so I didn't have any left over. I think I had like one. But if you have the smaller ones and you can put a couple on there, that'll be really cute too. But you're just going to tie the twine. You can use a picture frame for this as well. and just kind of either staple or glue the twine to the back of the frame, and then it'll look like it's just hanging there. That'd be really cute too. But I had this tobacco basket and I hadn't used it, so I said, you know what, why not? So I'm leaving this piece of twine kind of hanging a little bit. I don't want it to just go straight across. I want the heart to like hang a little bit. So I'm just adjusting it a little bit, making sure that it's fitting the way that I want it to. And then I'm just tying the twine on the ends there. And I'll cut the string, cut the pieces off at the end once everything is put together. So then for the next one, I had already cut up these book pages. Depending on, the size of your book pages and how big the frame or whatever is that you're using, you kind of just have to cut, accordingly. So I just kind of measured it out, and this is the size that worked for me. Then I'm just going to take my little hole puncher and I'm going to punch a heart into the 2 book pages so that the fold is on the top. And then I'm going to take my distress ink and I'm going to distress it a little bit because it looks nice and I like the way that distressing looks on certain things. Yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and distress the edges and distress around the heart so that it just looks, old and vintagey. Now this may not be like vintage decor for anybody else, but I don't really like all the vintagey, pink decor and stuff that I see all the time. So this is my take on vintage. And vintage to me is just looking more like rustic and older and, just giving that kind of vibe. So this is, like I said, my take on vintage. And I'm just going to go ahead and tie another piece of twine straight across like the top of it. Again, if you're using a picture frame, you can do however you want. If you want to do 2 rows of the book pages, that'd be cute too. Or, however you want to do it. I think the book pages would look really cute if you just made like 2 rows of those as well. That would be really cute. But I did it this way. And then, like I said, just tied it across the top. Made this one a little bit tighter so that it goes straight across as opposed to hanging, because I didn't want them like touching. So that's why I did that. So as I stated before, today I'm participating in a vintage Valentine. Actually, I'm one of the hosts. It's hosted by Indiana Jones, Grace Life DIY Home Decor, Buckeye Girls Decor and Lifestyle, myself, At Home with Lisa, Annalise Cupboard, The Aria Designs, DIY with Audia, Creating with Chris Hunter. And I will have everybody's link in the description box down below along with the playlist, so be sure to check that out. If you're coming over here from the playlist, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by, and please be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. And again, thank you so much for stopping by and welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much. I appreciate you. So now what I did was I took the little book pages that I cut out and I just hung them on that piece of twine that I put across the top. Again, you can make a garland out of this. Out of these little book pages, you can make them bigger, smaller, whatever you want to do to fit whatever piece you're working on. Now, I don't like pink that much, but these little purple flowers from the Dollar Tree that I get all the time, get them every year. I love them. They're like foam flowers. I'm just going to take a couple of these and put 2 on each side. Sorry, again, you're out of shot, but I'm just gluing them to the corners of the little tobacco basket. I got this tobacco basket at, I want to say Dollar General last year on clearance, like after Easter, or I think it was after Easter. Got it on clearance for like 50 cents or something like that. So definitely a great deal. I love getting stuff on clearance and using like different holiday stuff for different things. So again, I just glued these on here. You can use whatever color you want, whatever type of flower, or no flower. You can leave it as it was, but this is definitely just an easy little project. So again, you can take these, make a big garland or whatever. So super cute, super easy, and pretty cost effective if you ask me. So yeah, so I made that one. And then my next one is a little bit different, but I'm gonna I don't know what I'm doing here, why why I'm still playing with it. I think I was trying to straighten out the twine on that one. All right, so for my next one, I'm going to be using a sign from the Dollar Tree and some scrapbook paper and a couple other pieces that I had like in my stash. So I'm going to take this sign out. It is a Valentine's Day sign. I got a bunch of them on clearance like last year, and I was going to use them for something else. I didn't end up doing that project, so I just had a bunch of signs left over. So I'm going to go ahead and use them. So I don't know why I did this. I had a different idea in mind to begin with. That's why I kind of measured it out and I was cutting the paper, and then I just went a different route. Now you can paint the sign, you can, cover it in paper, you can do whatever you want. You can whitewash these. If you take some chalk paint and just kind of dry brush over the backs of these Dollar Tree signs, it really looks like a plank of wood. So that's just something to keep in mind. I've done it in several projects before, and it really does look like, some wood. So I'm just trying to, measure out the paper, see how I'm going to place it. And I had all of these thinking that I wanted to cover up the whole thing, and then once I started like gluing it down, I kind of noticed that I liked the way that it looked like with the wood sign kind of showing underneath it. I don't know why, I just liked the way that it looked better. I don't know what I think I was trying to dry brush over there. And again, you can't see me. There we go. Okay, so I realized that I was out of the shot. So just take, and this is just like a makeup brush from the Dollar Tree. You can just take the pad and kind of rub it against the edges if you want to, but it just gives it, a cool look. So I did that, and this is kind of when I noticed that I didn't really want all the sign covered up. So I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of finish inking all of these pieces however you want. And again, you can use tissue paper, you can use wrapping paper if you have like a cool one that goes with whatever decor you're trying to do. It's really up to you. This is such a, like a flexible, is that the right word? I don't know. You can do whatever you want with it. It's your project. You can do whatever you want. So again, I'm using just stuff that I had in my stash. I'm trying really hard not to like buy any new craft supplies. I have so much more, and I say that all the time, and then I end up seeing something and I'm like, ooh, I have to have it. But it's just a thing. But yeah, I'm trying to use up my stash. I have tons of stuff. When I moved, I gave away a lot of things, and then I still have a bunch of stuff in storage, so I really need to use up what I have. So this is, a project like this is just good to use up some of the stuff that you've had sitting around. I've had these little wood hearts that you see there sitting around for a while. This scrapbook paper has been in my stash forever. So I'm just using this Crayola glue that I got from the Dollar Tree. It works really well. You can use Mod Podge or whatever, Fabrifix, whatever glue you have, I'm sure it'll work just fine. This glue works for me, so that's why I'm using it. I use this in my journals, I use this in other projects, and it sticks very well, and I've never had any problems with it, and it's cheap. So that's what I use. And I mean, hot glue would probably not work too well because it's going to be bubbled up and stuff, so I wouldn't use hot glue, but if that's all you have, then, go for it. So here I am just gluing the pieces down, trying to figure out like where I want the pieces arranged and cleaning up after myself. I have glue all over my hands, so I'm trying to get some of that off. Then I'm going to glue the other piece on the top there. And then I realized, like, as I was gluing, that the holes were on the side and not on the top. So then I wanted to leave it like this, and I thought this would be good. But then I realized that there was like the holes where the hanging twine was at are on the sides of the sign. So then I just cut up a few extra pieces. You'll see that in here in a minute. I just kind of cut up a couple of other pieces that I had already torn up, and I covered those holes with that. So just trying to find a good size there. And tearing it like this gives you like that worn look on the edges. So I like that. And apparently I didn't edit as well as I thought I did. Again, guys, grant me some grace. It's been a while since I've done a DIY video, so I'm rusty. I'm a little rusty, so my editing skills are not where they should be anymore, and I'm trying. So just grant me grace, guys. Grant me grace. And again, just inking it up, trying to, figure out how I want it to look and where I want everything placed. And once I did that, I just got it, glued it down. Sorry if there's a glare. I know that paper is kind of shiny, so it looks a little bit funny. But yeah, so just went ahead, kept gluing all the little pieces down. I don't know why I'm showing you every piece that I'm gluing down, but here we are nonetheless. And yeah, so I just wanted to cover those two holes up. Again, no big deal. Depending on the sign, that may not even be necessary. I really just wanted the two big pieces, but I had to do something to cover up the hole. So that was my solution. Then I'm going to take one of those little wood hearts, or not little, they're pretty big actually. I was going to put the pink one, and I was like, that's a lot of pink. So I went ahead and got this, like, it looks orange on here, but it's not. It's like an older red. It looks like an older red color. So I'm cutting off the little string tassel thingy that was on it. And I'm going to use one of these cute little butterfly. I don't really know what they are, but I've had them in my stash forever. And I just thought it would be cute to kind of add a little butterfly to the project. I didn't know if that's where I wanted it, but it worked out. So I just went ahead and I put it in there, and then I ran, it had like a little wire on the back of the butterfly. So I used that to kind of hold it in place. Again, sorry I'm out of the camera shot. See, I notice it and I keep trying to adjust it, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to keep it on there. And then I decided to just kind of go through the hole, wrap it around the hole twice, and then just glue it down. So that's what I did. And I like keeping my projects simple. Now, sometimes I'll go overboard and do a whole lot extra, but sometimes I just like to keep them really, really simple. And I'm just going to hot glue that down there. And I love how plain it is. Now you can add clips to it and make this like a note board if you want to, or you can leave it just like that, or you can put names on it if you would like to. Like, if you are giving it as a gift, or if you're going to use it for yourself, you can put you and your spouse's name, or the date that you were like married, or anything like that. Now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to hang this, because initially I was just kind of going to like sit it on a table or something, but then I realized that it was a little bit too big for that. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this lace from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to make a little hanger with it. And it worked out great. It hangs, it looks nice, and it kind of gives it, again, a little bit more of a vintage feel. And I did have a clip of how I staged everything, but somehow I deleted it. So all I have is just pictures of the individual pieces. But that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and check out everybody in the playlist. Until next time, be blessed and be the reason someone's smiling.